Hi everyone. This is Oliana from Raices Cyber with CyberTalk podcast. We are in episode 5 already. And with us today, we have a very esteemed guest, Josh Mason. Josh, hello and welcome to the Raices podcast. And
Hey.
you do a quick introduction about yourself, though I think a lot of people know you already, but just to set the stage.
Yeah, I'm Josh Mason. I'm a former Air Force pilot and cyber warfare officer. I w run Noob Village, a nonprofit with a community spot at DEF CON this year, our second year. I have some podcasts, some books. I do a little bit here and there.
That
Yeah.
sounds a little bit like my introduction these days. And he's being humble, everyone. So very humble. How this came about. So we started this podcast to make sure that folks that are joining cybersecurity, they're aware of the diversity in pathways. What would happen is I would meet a lot. I myself, I'm a sales engineer. I met a lot of people that didn't know what this was. So being on the vendor side in cybersecurity is one thing, but what other pathways are there, right? Like, is it just the SOC? Do you just go up in the SOC tiers and then you go into like specialties? But I was convinced that there's more to it. It's not like the hot role to pursue, it's red teaming or offensive security. So I wanted to bring more voices to light, and that's why we started this. And especially when we look at underrepresented communities, Raisa Cyber does a lot of work to shed light on those communities and make sure they have the resources. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much resources you give people if they don't see themselves represented. It's going to be hard to say I can do that too. So I myself am an immigrant, and I know how important these spaces are. So today I invited you because Lori met up with you. Lori is our in our leadership for Raisa Cyber, and she spoke very highly of you. But then I remembered I've already met you because you do so much out there already, and then you always show up on my LinkedIn feed with hot takes or good advice. So today, I want to spend the first half of our time talking about your path, how you got started in cyber, and what it is you do right now in regards to cybersecurity, and paint a good picture about what what does it actually mean when we talk about a title, a role.
Mm,
Um, I want people to understand beyond the description and beyond the skill set that you might need to bring. Would I enjoy that type of role, or does it sound boring to me? Does it involve a lot of people? So just get them an understanding of what it is that you do in cybersecurity, and then the second half I would like to spend in the community building that you do with New Village and then the Ginger Hacker Initiative, which that one is newer to me. So
yeah.
I have to find out more about that.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so let's get started. You started in the Air Force. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that, or did you kind of have in mind that you want to do technology in the Air Force, or was it kind of introduced to you?
So I was a C-130 pilot, and so was my spouse, and we both flew C-130s, cargo planes, these guys back here, and
Breaks clear.
then we had kids, had some family stuff change, and I swapped over into cyber warfare. It was uh, a lot of IT management. I essentially became the deputy CISO for based down near Destin, Florida, and I actually had a almost a bit of conflict with my boss because I came from the ops world and like I thought of things in a lot of I don't know businessy terms, and he was focused on like audits and big IT projects, and we would clash on the direction for fulfilling the Wings mission. Um, and after 6 months, it was actually about a month ago, 8 years ago, he told me, Josh, I don't think you have a future in cybersecurity. And I said, I don't think I do either. And he told me that he had worked with the Air Force Special Operations School, which was right next door, like right across the parking lot. And I went over there and was a professor for the last 2 years in the Air Force, teaching introduction to special operations, soft command and control, a few other little courses here and there, helping out with some PJ school stuff, parajump troopers, and it was a lot of fun. And then my time in the Air Force ended, and I moved up to Maryland and taught right outside of Fort Meade to a bunch of cyber people in the Air Force how to do threat hunting, digital forensics, and essentially junior pen testing. They called it cyber threat emulation. And it was one of those I wasn't looking for a job in cyber when I got out.
Mhm.
And one of my friends said, "Hey, you've got Security Plus. You understand this stuff. You could be very helpful and you might make some good money." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, all of that together." So I moved up here, taught cyber, um, actually got connected with the community a little bit and got pretty close with Eric Bellardo and Neil
Uh,
Bridges. And um,
that's our founder, everyone. In case you don't know.
uh, I started doing conferences and meeting folks like them. And there were things that we would discuss needing in the community, like Raices and Noob Village. And so through that, I started looking into what is DEF CON. It's the biggest cybersecurity conference in the world, and a lot of people go. These numbers I can't really back, but I've heard it's about 70% of the people who go to DEF CON have never been in cybersecurity before. They don't even have a job in cyber. And about 80% of the people who go to DEF CON have never been before.
Yeah.
And there isn't something there, or hasn't been something there dedicated for the new person who's like, "I've never been here before, or I don't know what cyber is, help." And I thought, well, that's lame. We could fix that. We know enough people. I know enough people that we can make this happen. And so started gathering support, reaching out to folks. At the same time, I went from teaching to uh, being a sales engineer as well, because it's a lot like teaching without the pressure of someone having to take a test at the end, and it pays better. So it's kind of nice. You also get to meet a lot of folks and travel, and
Yeah.
it really works for what I do. You become a lot more consultative rather than here is the syllabus, learn it. And so, um, sales engineer, but also going to conferences, meeting people, seeing how conferences are run, what is out there for new people. I've done resume reviews at conferences, I've done talks, I've been a volunteer at several. I think I'm at the point where I do about 20 conferences a year between volunteering, speaking, and running things. And so, yeah, got the opportunity to do Noob Village for the first time last year. It was there to be the on-ramp for anyone new to DEF CON. And things went swimmingly, and we're ramping up for the second year of that. A lot of the things that I do are because I've been given the opportunity, and then I see what I can do with it. So, um, you asked what my like origin story was. I have been around computers my whole life.
Okay.
My dad was a network engineer, and so
No way.
yeah, so I can't remember not having computers. I can remember not having the internet,
Mhm.
but we almost always had some sort of computer in the house. I programmed a little text adventure game on QBasic for MS-DOS when I was like 7, which was mostly copy, paste, and then change a little bit of stuff. It would last like a minute for someone to like run through.
You
But
know, I
yeah,
appreciate you sharing that because so one thing that I deal with a lot at this stage of my career, I see a lot of peers that have had they've had a head start because they knew people, they had families that worked in technology or adjacent technology, so that's how they got their foot in the door. But it's not many people that will take that and take it into a whole multiplier effect and
Yeah.
create an organization and create villages and give back in the sense of, hey, I recognize the advantage that I had in life, so let me pay it forward and make sure
Hmm.
that I'm able to um, spread that knowledge and make sure that I multiply and create a ripple effect to others. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I encourage more people that have had similar beginnings like you to join efforts that already exist, right? You don't have to create your own from scratch, but I appreciate you
Right.
sharing that.
Thanks. It's I've found that there's enough people who, if you pay attention, you made it to 2026, there's a good chance you know enough technology
Mhm.
that it won't take that long to become useful in cybersecurity. If you can figure out how to, you know, add and remove programs from your phone or from your computer, you've got enough. It really doesn't take that much. And a willingness to learn and maybe feel silly for a little bit. I think that might be one of the hardest things for a lot of folks is the uh that fear of looking like they don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
especially if you make it to like my age and you want to make a change. There is at that point a lot of, well, why don't you already know this?
Mm.
And the second you can get over that and be like, there's things that I don't know that
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn. There's a lot that I do know. And if you can meld those two, what you don't know and what you are able to figure out, you're going to go far.
I agree. And I think sometimes we try to skip the fundamentals when we get into our start in cybersecurity. And for me, it took I'll be vulnerable, but I still sometimes say that I don't think I'm in cybersecurity because I do work for a vendor that does a ton of stuff. And my job there is being a generalist. So not only knowing the cybersecurity side of the portfolio, but the infrastructure part and then the collaboration and a little bit of data center. But once you start to understand it's the infrastructure you're really protecting and then what mechanism is needed. If you don't know the underlying infrastructure, then how are you going to support it? So
Mhm.
that kind of makes me feel better. But I still catch myself thinking that even though I've been 7 years as a professional, 5 years as a sales engineer, but what you said, it the past 2 years is when I really started to kind of get involved with so much community building because I realized I don't need to know everything from each cyber role or even one. I don't need to have a niche, but I have so much talent in other things that I can pull all those together, bring the right people in, kind of what an SC does sometimes, and make magic happen. And one thing that shocked me about this community is how much no wonder we're all burnt out. How much we try to help each other out with all the initiatives. But there's nothing more rewarding than seeing people that, for example, let's say 2 years ago was my first DEF CON, and then seeing people that couldn't even think of themselves to attend the next year. They're there and they're going to be involved as a volunteer. So it
Mhm.
really is a full circle. I love looking for full circle moments personally. It's what keeps me going. Um, so today, where are you at in terms of role? Are you a sales engineer? You're consultant? Is it your own consulting, or do you work for a certain company? We don't have to mention them, but do you
Yeah.
want to describe a little bit what the day-to-day looks like for anyone that might be interested in that type of role?
So I overwork most of my days. My day
Really?
job, I'm a sales engineer for Synack, selling pen testing as a service or pen testing at scale. And then I also run Mason SC, a Mason Security Consulting, my own consulting company where I've got a handful of clients where I do everything from um, preparation for compliance audits, uh, just road mapping for their security programs, a lot of security leadership in talking to startup CEOs who they really know building their app or their product or their company, but they might not. They're not experts in HIPAA or what they need to do on the cybersecurity side. Often very smart people, but there's so much to know in the world, and it's really good when you have someone who can come in and do consultative work on something specific. So uh, right now, I'm in the middle of writing incident response playbooks, getting cyber insurance, and figuring out retainers to so we can solidify the incident response playbooks for one client. We did a tabletop. They realized they had some gaps and they wanted something standardized. And so it's one of those. You start off with one piece and then you start growing into, well, if you need to be HIPAA compliant, or if you want to be HIPAA compliant, we need pen tests, we need tabletops, um, the tabletops identify that we need incident response plans. The incident response plan identifies that maybe we need to know what we're doing for insurance. It's a fun.
And they don't get upset that you have to keep adding things.
No, I think people understand. It's all in how you deliver things.
That's right.
Um, it's we can do it this way, but there's a good chance you want insurance, and so let's wrap that into the same plan. They go, oh, okay. So, yeah, um, so much comes down to delivery, and
Yeah,
I've learned that's kind of the secret. Social engineering people uh, doesn't need to be something that only scammers do. We can use the same techniques for how do you make someone like when you're telling them bad news.
right. Yeah.
It's
That's smart. You're
one
perfecting
of
the
those weird
smile. You're
things.
perfecting the smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people want to be heard, and I think people need humans, myself included, we have the need to relate. So when
Hmm.
you make the everything that whatever that plan that you're working on, recommendation, suggestion, when you make it relatable and you're able to speak in industry terms what others are doing,
Hmm.
that definitely for me that would provide context, and context is everything. Um, so when did you realize, wait, I know enough now. I can do this on my own. I can go independent and offer consulting. So I'll give you a
Hmm.
little short story. I didn't realize my peers were doing consulting on their own. And I thought it was like, they had 20 years, some 30 years experience, and that's a
Hmm.
lot. But I realized they had their own clients that they were working with. And again, this depends on each company. So disclaimer, everyone, don't go do this, but unless your company is okay with it. But I believe as long as you declare it, whatever your whatever the company policy is, you can do your own consulting. But I was shocked at that moment because I realized, wait, you have this whole like your own world that, how do you at what point do you say, I have enough knowledge? That's one thing. And then I have a big enough network that I can reach out to, and I build enough trust in the community that they see me as an advisor. Because what I've been noticing a lot in cybersecurity, I see a lot of fractional work, right? Fractional
Hmm.
CISOs, fractional GRC, independent consulting. So
Yep.
how do you also say, this is a lot of questions by the way, but how do you also
It's
say
okay.
like, oh my God, there's so much competition, right? So like I'm definitely gonna get some work, so I should go ahead and do this and take a bet on
Yeah.
myself. Speak a little bit about that.
There's plenty of work out there. I say the second you are able to um, get past your own bias, convince yourself that you can do consulting, you can do consulting. If you've got Security Plus, if you've been studying the different uh, compliance frameworks that exist and what people might face, if they're healthcare, they're going to be facing HIPAA rules. And so if you go and learn what the HIPAA security rule is and what's contained in there, there are plenty of checklists. And if you can run down a checklist and be like, okay, I understand how we set up encryption, or I could figure out how we ensure that there's encryption on data at rest and data in transit um, in motion, then you're ready to start sharing that with someone else. If You can help someone set up two-factor authentication or MFA if they're on G Suite or Microsoft 365. You can go and find a video that teaches you how to do it, and then you're able to walk them through it. That is fine. It's the people, there's just folks who they have to know how to do their job. If they had the time, they could figure out security. The one up is that you are already interested in security. And if you
Yeah.
can learn how to do it for one client, then you can do it for multiple clients. And that is your specialty if you work in cybersecurity, is understanding these pieces. So the more you add on there, and you don't need to be like Johnny on the spot, have it all ready to go, but knowing where to look and what we're talking about while we're discussing all these different things, that's where the value is. If you can figure out what vendors are available for the different needs, uh, if you have some connections. When I needed to find a pen tester for my client, I was like, I know five different pen testing firms, and so I just reached out. I was like, hey, do you have availability to do this pen test? And the first one was like, yes, we do. Like, excellent. Went there, got a quote. They liked it, but I was ready in case they were like, well, we're not available, or we can't do it for a couple of months, or there wasn't a connection between them and my client. That's always something that it happens. Not everyone connects, not everyone clicks. And so if they didn't enjoy that, that's okay. I can reach out to another friend who runs another pen testing firm. Um, uh, Becoming informed on what all the different pieces are, and having some friends who are also willing to advise. I'm in
Mm.
a Signal group chat with several vCISO fractional CISOs. And so there's times where I hop in there and I'm like, hey, I've got a client who needs this. I was thinking of this. And people will be like, okay, that's a good one. This is also a good idea. You might want to go with this as well. Just implemented this over here. And that helps a lot. Also, those same groups, they've reached out and been like, I'm doing a policy review for this company, and I could use a second set of like ears and like hands to take notes while we're interviewing all their people. And then a second backup on what we're putting together and a second set of eyes for editing and whatnot before we hand it over. And so got brought in for um, a couple of those actually engagements of rewriting policy or writing policy for the first time. So yeah, it's I don't know when that point hits.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on the individual. For me, it kind of fell in my lap. Someone asked if I could do a thing. I
Mm.
reached out to the community and like to my friends and was like, "Hey, could you advise on this?" And then it just kept happening.
So don't talk yourself out of things.
Yeah,
If it's like, your own idea.
exactly. I I've learned that I look at the world differently than a lot of people. Getting a start in flying tends to make me feel like I can do anything I want to do. I know not everyone has that same sense of, you know what, if I want to do this, I can just go and do it.
Yeah.
And but you can.
Yeah.
Literally anyone can. There's going to be barriers. Not everything's going to be easy, but you can do it. If you
Right.
want to do it, then go figure out how. Um, I was in high school. I was 14 when like 9/11 happened, and and I don't know, a lot of us became very patriotic at the time. I lived in the right place and then was surrounded by the right community that I became very patriotic and like join the military and do things. And someone was like, "Hey, if you, I've got six brothers. I'm number two. I knew there was no money for college."
Right.
And so I knew that very early. Um, and so someone came to me and said, if you, or I was maybe in a talk, trying to remember now because it's been a long time, and presented, if you wanted to be a pilot, your best bet is going through the Air Force Academy, and it's difficult to get in. The rejection rates are up there with Ivy League schools, and it can be hard. But I got my Eagle. My I had like a 3.2 GPA, which wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good enough. I had a like 1270 SAT score on the
Don't talk to me
1600
about
scale.
those stupid exams. I hate them with a passion. I was
Yeah.
really getting used to English when I had to take the ACT. But yeah,
hmm
those tests say nothing about what you can do.
Yeah. And so like because of all that, I was close, but I didn't even get in my first time.
Yeah.
Um, I got a scholarship to go to prep school. I took the SATs and the ACTs combined 6 times that fall semester while I was at prep school, and ended up with a like a 36 on the ACT, um, which
Ooh. The
which
maximum?
was yeah, because I
Really?
like all we did was study and
Yeah.
learn how to memorize things
Yeah.
and prep for those. And so yeah, on one of them, I just went in there and I was like, oh, I had seen this. I had already seen this one. I had already seen this one. I'd done this on practice tests. Things had been recycled from year to year. Um, and we had to learn like 10 new vocab words every single day at that prep school. And so at that point, my vocabulary was quite lugubrious. And uh, um, yeah, I just had learned like the methodology, what they're looking for, how the things work, and got in, went to the Air Force Academy, graduated there with a 3.2 GPA, and saying, I'm not that smart. I'm decently smart.
Mm.
Um, and just figured out how to get through. And that got me to pilot training, got through pilot training, ended up at C-130 school, got through C-130 school, and then I was a co-pilot. And you don't have to be like amazingly the best in the world. You don't have to be this special thing. You just kind of have to figure it out and keep pressing through. All of it was hard, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's-
always tell people, those with, especially the immigrant community, or those first generations, second generation too, but I tell them, I see a lot being on the other side of the organizing now. I see a lot of people that have more audacity. And I don't want to say audacity in the sense of with a negative connotation, but really those people get the opportunities. There's people that reach out to volunteer all the time. They don't wait for the volunteer sign up sheet to go out. They're aggressive like that. But there's probably more to where that came from, that confidence, that audacity. But I
mhm,
do encourage more people because even me, I was shy at the beginning. I thought I have to be perfect. And this happens a lot with underrepresented community. There's a lot of cultural context too, how you were
mhm,
raised. You really have to be perfect before you go out there and shine. And nothing will come to you. All you get is analysis paralysis by doing that. So you're doing yourself a disservice. So I love that you're touching on that, but I did not expect that the conversation would go to the SATs and the ACTs today. I'll tell you
Oh,
that.
never know your audience. And but it goes back to so many things. You just said it. The fear of being having to look perfect. The second you can realize that you're gonna be you're gonna come off better having the daringness, the audacity to go and try something rather than the perfection of it. Most of the stuff I do is far from perfect,
Mhm.
but I've learned I'll still a patent quote that I had to memorize 20 years ago. Um, perfect or a good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed next week.
Yeah.
It's about going and getting the thing now.
Yeah.
Um, because I don't know, no one cares. That like 10 more percent of perfection is gonna eat you up. It's gonna take a lot of your time. It's gonna tire you out. Frankly, if you have something that's ready to go, try it. Start there. Be willing to adapt when it doesn't work. Um, so much of my stuff, I don't know, people who have been close to me have seen a lot of my failures, but most people don't. Most people don't know that they existed or that
That's
they
right.
currently exist.
I like talking about it more. For example, even for me, it took multiple failures to get my CCMP. Like I always talk about it.
Mhm.
I'm not shy about it. Did I have peers that passed it on like way less tries? Yeah, but like whatever. I use that in every interview I talk
Yeah.
talk about, right?
And
My
here's
failures,
the fun fact. Once you have it, no one cares.
right? Exactly.
No one cares how many attempts it took. Like, do you know the stuff?
And
Do you have the certificate
if
now?
you are
Yeah.
surrounded with people that will tell you that it matters how many tries it took, you're probably in the wrong circle. You should surround yourself with some more positive, motivational people. So that's
Yeah.
my hot take today.
I'm with you. I've never met people who were worthwhile to stick around that
Yeah,
weighed things in those terms.
like we have so much little time. Why not like spend it being positive and helping others? That's my
Yeah.
motto in life. Okay, love all that. So I guess you never know if you have it in you. You just gotta go and try it. If it flops at first, try again. Maybe
Hmm.
the second, third time. Never go at it alone. You just like you're tapping that network of yours, fractional CISOs, firms you're already established with. This is how business works, even for big
Yeah.
corporations, even for big vendors. They each tap their like each other's shoulders, and that's how business relationships are done. That's why I encourage so many people if you do enjoy talking to people and working with people to consider some type of consulting role. Not
Mm.
always, not forever in your career, but sometimes people frown upon sales. But at the end of the day, each one of us has to sell our own values when whether
Yeah.
an interview, a job, or a promotion. So I cringe a little bit when people say that sales is like maybe it's not for them at that time or they've tried it and it's not a long-term option, but everyone should try it at least once, I think. Um,
Great.
Okay, awesome. So I feel like both of us were going to convince everyone to go into sales. But I will say that it does have a lower barrier to entry, even if you start on the account management side. And it's a little bit harder to switch, I think, from being an account manager to the sales engineer. But if you're in a very niche company that focuses on one thing, I think it's easy to pick up because you're going to be talking about the service, if it's like pen testing all day, every day, right? So if the you're already building the technical knowledge. Why not explore that route too? And if you're incentivized by money, which it's not wrong to be incentivized by money, you should understand what motivates you. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, that's something I encourage people to do. So let's shift gears a little bit to the community side of things. You touched on the story about Noob Village, how it came about. Hacker Summer Camp is coming up in
Hmm.
August, first week of August. I'll tell you my background first with and my experience with Hacker Summer Camp, and I want you to spend some time talking about options on how to get involved, first of all, and then we can go into best practices on what to expect if you're a first timer there, especially you being with New Village. And then I also want to talk about Junior Hacker Initiative, right? Because
Yeah.
I saw that I was like, oh my God, I see a couple of familiar faces. I know Cassidy from marketing. We've met virtually as well. So like there's some um, great minds coming together, and I want to hear more about it and how it differentiates from the initiative with New Village. So let's start with Hacker Summer Camp. My personal story is 2 years ago, I believe it was, I knew of DEF CON. I don't even know how I heard about it a long time ago. And it
Hmm.
was this intimidating uh, topic. I thought it was for like hackers. I thought it was I would read forums on Reddit like about people being so nervous, get a burner phone, like, be really careful, uh, protect yourself, privacy is everything, all that. And I should say that we all have different tolerance or preference for privacy. So
Yeah.
For example, I have my public profile on LinkedIn. I know everything there can and will be used against me. Not on court, but on the court of the internet. So I don't care, right? Like there's a point where there's more to be gained by putting information out there than the information that you put is your private information. So everything that we do publicly, we're aware well of what we're doing. But with DEF CON, I do a lot with organizations. There's one called Women in Security and Privacy, WISP. So
Hmm.
the advice someone gave me was, oh, you should volunteer for a village. That's how you're able to
Mm.
get a pass. I was like, okay, I explored all these villages. I started following them. I think a year prior to actually going to my first DEF CON. And I was just kind of observing what they did and all that. I was like, oh, so I noticed a pattern. All of these villages have some type of call for participation X amount of time before DEF CON happens, and I should probably apply. Now, not every village gives a pass to go. And you shouldn't probably go just volunteer to get a pass, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. What I always recommend to people is find a village that aligns with what you have, what you like. So let's say you're not so much on the hardware side and you want to mess with like
Hmm.
or village or things like that. You go to the social engineering village if you like people, if you think
Yeah.
that always good with people. There's a space is what I'm trying to say. So I found
Yes.
this and I found that they were doing a scholarship. So I applied, not thinking much that I
Hmm.
would like probably get it. So many people, so many followers. And I got it. But you had to work two different shifts, 4-hour shifts, I believe
Hmm.
a day. I thrived. We had the table. I I went to my first one. We had a very strategic position too, so it helped being in the right at the beginning of the all the vendor booths.
Yeah.
Everyone stopped by. I thought, oh my God, it's a women's thing. Maybe not so many people will stop by. Everyone was interested buying swag for their families and
Hmm.
so much. I met so many people that day. It's like this is perfect. And I love conferences. So to me, that comes naturally. So that's how I went to my first DEF CON through WISP. I volunteered in exchange for a badge. And last year, I got nominated to be an official volunteer with DEF CON, so I ended up in merch. So funny enough, I still sell things. I sell shirts. I started at DEF CON through selling swag at the WISP booth, and now I ended up as a merch goon, what we call it.
Hmm.
So we have those long lines usually on the first day, and
Yep.
I did do it again this year, but those have
Nice.
been my two involvements. I also did Blue Team Village a little bit. I
Yep.
didn't get a badge for that, but I wanted to do that because I do enjoy the people that I worked with, so that is my
Yeah.
experience. I do want to prefer and say that Summer Camp is not only DEF CON, it's also Black Hat and
And beside.
B-side. So I'll give you the floor. You tell us maybe whatever you want to spend time on. Maybe
Hmm.
you've done so many of these already that, but I have a lot of people that they ask, should I go to all three? Or what's the difference between Black Hat and DEF CON?
Yeah.
Am I good enough to go to DEF CON or is it like a hacker thing?
Yeah. So I can do it the history way. Everything started, I'd recommend going and watching the DEF CON documentary.
Documentary, yeah.
It talks about how Hacker Summer Camp even came to be. Uh, Dark Tangent wanting to get people together for a party and inviting some folks to speak and then turning it into a conference. And it's blown up since then. This is the 34th one. There's only been a couple years that were skipped. And so it's kind of crazy. Black Hat spun off of that to be as the more corporate version, initially as, hey, my company won't pay for me or won't give me like the time off to go or won't pay for me to be there. Let's build something that's a little more corporate with some training and a lot more talks, and a lot fewer like hands-on village stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how Black Hat came to be. And then B-Sides was a spinoff of both of those, of someone who was in the community, in trying to be part of leadership, had an idea for stuff and had a clash of ideas and decided, you know what, I'll do my own thing. Won't be like right up there at the exact same time, but let's have an alternate to a lot of what's going on. And so B-Sides Las Vegas was meant to be like on an album, the B-side of the album. Most people in back in the day when you bought LPs, you bought them to listen to the A side, had most of the singles, the top songs, the music that most people remember from older bands. The B side, though, some people love that. Uh, there's a lot of Beatles albums where the B side might be better than the top side. Um, and so B-Sides Las Vegas started in that way, and it's the tickets are cheaper. It's a lot more, I think, approachable. It's a lot smaller. DEF CON itself, this year is probably going to have 30 to 35,000 people. And the way that it works is the villages are essentially uh, conferences within a bigger conference. For those who don't know, obviously you know, you're
No,
gooning
but
this
this
year,
we're
which
doing
is
this for
pretty
everyone
awesome.
who wants to go,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Um, this is only going to be my fourth DEF CON.
Hmm.
So, and my fourth year at Hacker Summer Camp even. Um, my first one, I volunteered at B-Sides, popped over to Black Hat to run into some people in the hallways, but I didn't have a ticket to get in because I think I just looked, they're like $2,300. Um,
It's expensive.
for a ticket to Black Hat. It's a little pricey for most of us. I imagine a world where I could spend that and be okay, but I'm not anywhere close to that now. Whereas Black Hat, I think it might be or DEF CON or B-Sides. B-Sides, I want to say it's less than $100 to get
Oh
in.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
The Las Vegas one, I think it was at 100. Depends
maybe,
which
yeah.
one you go to. Most of them are very accessible. I
And
love.
then DEF CON, I think a ticket right now is like 560 for a human badge.
Yeah,
Um,
I love.
and then my first 2 years at DEF CON, I volunteered at Aerospace Village.
Mm.
Um, I
See,
was a
that's a village.
pilot.
That's
It
a
connects
village.
with me. Yeah, a lot of good friends there, a lot of good mentors there. The Dan, the guy who helped me when I was brand new there, learned how to solder and connected with him. He's now leading the organization, which is amazing. Um, he's a former Navy guy, and they put their engines on upside down. But other than that, cool guy. He flew the P3, which has the exact same engines as the C-130, just literally upside down. Um, it's one of those weird things. A lot of Navy people will be like, "Well, why does it say no step upside down on this like engine?" It's because it makes sense on a C-130. Anyways,
Oh my God, I'm learning so much about the service lives.
I'm
I'm
full
sure
of
to get there.
fun facts.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I volunteered there, and I didn't get a ticket for that one through volunteering. It was actually uh, through the company I was working for. We sent like 5 people to DEF CON, and the company paid for a bunch of it. It was an amazing opportunity. Um, I feel honored that I got that chance. If your company can cover, amazing. Um, the last 2 years, I volunteered at Black Hat. Not many people know that there's volunteer opportunities there, but there's a
I didn't know.
program, yeah, called Conference Associates. It is not widely known. I don't even know if I'd get in this year or if they need me. I think I'm too busy because I'm helping out in the Ginger Hacker booth at Black Hat. I
Am I
am
supposed
might be
to
giving a
start
talk
holding
at
you
B-Sides.
accountable and tell you you're doing enough, Josh?
Uh, I'm running the village, and then on Thursday I'll be shoutcasting, which is something last time we did one of these play cyber things at the esports arena, it was Neil Bridges and Eric Blardo shoutcasting. So uh it will be interesting. It'll be a busy week.
Is it more so the Black Hat one? Is it a little bit more for veterans in the industry, or can anyone apply for the
Oh,
conference?
that one I don't know. They have a um that one I it's really having to know somebody and
Yeah,
I don't want to say their name here.
so I wanted to call that out because say their name and the next thing you know everyone's bliss.
They're
Uh,
gonna get blown up.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I do want to spend some time and assure people that so it's not normal to do all these things right away as soon as you graduate or like while you're a student. This is
Well,
like the,
actually,
is
uh,
it? Is it normal?
like 3/4 of the conference associates are college students.
Well, because they give a scholarship. Black Hat gives a scholarship for
Well, no,
students.
this is not through Black Eye. It is
Oh,
Conference Associates. It is a program that connects that like Black Hat uses to like I was the MC, the master ceremony is like introducer for speakers.
yeah.
Um, so I watched last year what I 16 conference talks because I went up and introduced the speaker and then listened to them talk and then like thanked everyone and then introduced the next speaker and it got me my badge for Black Hat
Yeah.
and then it also comes with a badge for DEF CON, which I didn't need because I had the Noob Village badge, but I was able to give it away to someone who was on my staff and we didn't have enough badges for. So it was one of those helpful things.
But
Frankly, yeah, if you're not at like the certain schools in like Grand Canyon University or San Diego State or UNLV, uh, it might be hard to get in with the conference associates.
mm,
They fill up fast with folks from certain groups out there. Um, College students who are either like a couple hours away or very close by. Um, and yeah, so if you're go to either any of those schools, talk to your cyber people because they're going to be part of conference associates. And if you're interested in going, they'll help you out and connect you. There are plenty of veterans who now know the people. And so there's a couple of people I could text and be like, hey, do you have enough people? Can I come? But I'm already way busy.
yeah, yeah. I just
Um,
want people to understand that, so let's say they apply for a scholarship, they get rejected the first time.
mhm.
Your time will come. You don't have to go to everything in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
There's say happening, there's DEF CON, there's Black Hat, there's B-sides, but hey, you heard there's a B-sides in a another town or another
Yeah.
state. You don't have to do everything at once. It's not financially feasible or
No.
wise to do for someone who just is starting out, who's a student.
Yep.
Prioritize, ask everyone you know what would be the best one for you to prioritize. In my opinion, knowing your local B-sides
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
a lot of dividends because those folks you'll notice they're leaders outside of your community. They're leaders in these bigger conferences. Usually, B-sides organizers do a ton of stuff. Most of them have some sort of involvement with a village at DEF CON or beyond. So I would say that's a little bit of a shortcut and it's more accessible. And then wait for the bigger ones. Like your time will come. It doesn't happen right away. But doesn't mean you shouldn't apply to things and get rejected meanwhile.
Hmm.
Try your
Yeah.
luck, right?
My getting in with the conference associates began because I was helping out with resumes at the Diana Initiative. To
Mm.
hear that my company paid for DEF CON, I did Diana Initiative and Diana Initiative B-sides and DEF CON
Yeah,
because it worked out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah,
I
Thursday,
remember
Friday,
that.
Saturday. So that's when I ran into the person who was like, "Hey, you do all this stuff. Would you want to be part of what we're doing over here at Black Hat?" Um, and that worked with Diana Initiative being on Monday. Yes, there used to be even one more conference in the week. Uh, And it's through volunteering that I got to know so many people. The folks that I met through Aerospace Village, I had first run into interacting with um, Hackers on the Hill and Critical Effect, Hack the Capitol previously because I'm near DC. And I met them by going to B-Sides Charm and B-Sides Nova and volunteering with resume reviews there.
Yeah.
Uh, and a lot of those folks I got to know by volunteering at Wild West Hacking Fest. My first talk was actually a panel where we did resume reviews. Um, and yeah, it's one of those things. I haven't been a hiring manager, but I have talked to so many, and I have seen the feedback or like the guidance that so many give, um, that I was able to utilize that, collect from folks who have been around, make a best practices from you've hired people, what would you like to see? You've hired people, what do you like to see? And then some of my friends who have been recruiters, outside recruiters, they had pushed forward so many resumes, like hundreds of resumes to final companies that they knew what they liked to see, this like format that worked with ATS, like the software that, hey, format it in this way, put it in this terms. This is what folks are looking for first when they only have like 5 seconds to look at a resume. What do you want them to see so that they include you, that sort of thing. And so um, my expertise was a collection of other people's expertise.
Yeah,
But
tribal knowledge.
I've been an instructor so many times knowing that like I don't need to be the expert on this thing. I
Yeah.
just need to be able to present other people's expertise,
Yeah.
which we all graduated, or at least went to K through 12 school. None of our none of our teachers were experts.
Yeah. I'm like,
They were all
wow,
just
I thought that they knew
able
so
to
much.
teach.
No, they just knew how to navigate it. So I want to be cautious of time. We have 8 minutes left. So heads up to the live audience. We'll have multiple people watching this after as well, the recording. But for the live audience, this is your time to shine, ask any questions. I know we have a comment from Eleanor. Last year was my first DEF CON, she's saying. I spent most of my time at New Village. Oh, okay, awesome, because I enjoyed every talk and activity there. Thanks, Josh. Is Black Hat mostly just for corporate networking, or are there interesting activities to do? I first learned to solder. I cannot say it. My accent, solder, at DEF CON, so I'm trying to decide where to spend my time this year.
Nice. Um, So there is a whole bunch of soldering all over. We're gonna have some soldering irons for our badges. There's Hardware Hacking Village, which is just hundreds of seats with soldering irons available for people to use. A lot of the individual villages we did soldering in Aerospace Village for there's uh frankly, I say go spend the time in an area that like interests you. And if you get bored, or you feel like you've done all the things there, go find another one that interests you. And
No
if at
one
any
will take
point
it
you're
personally.
like, I don't know where to go, um, if you're completely overwhelmed and you need like a on the spot therapist to help you out, the Diana Initiative has a quiet room and a lot of like folks who've been around the industry for a while who are there to be, you know, um, a great help and listen to what you got going on and help you out. If it's a programming, hey, I don't know what is available in all the different places. There's both a goon booth for
Yeah,
like straight up, this is happening over here and this is happening over there. But we've got a booth at Noob Village uh, that we call No Stupid Questions. It's
I
you
love
can
that.
walk up and ask any question. And we've
Yes.
got folks who are there ready to answer whatever you ask and not make you feel bad. Make sure that like you feel fine asking that question. Because people need that. I need that.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
And so,
My friend Sophia, she just graduated and she's a volunteer for Noob Village. She did
mhm.
volunteering at CypherCon, I believe. By the way, I have a CypherCon badge right.
Oh,
This is a little vintage. Look at how cute it is, right?
nice.
Wanted to shout it out. Yeah, thanks, CypherCon. This is from the fifth CypherCon that happened. We do have another audience member, Clay, that raised their hand. So I will give you permission to talk, Clay, and you can come off mute and ask your question.
Take that. You got to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Bottom left.
I just asked him to unmute. Unless you accidentally raise your hand. Yeah. Well, while Clay is getting ready or not, I did want to spend some time differentiating the Ginger Hacker initiative from Heritage
Yeah.
and, where was the need there? Talk to us a little bit about Ginger Hacker.
So, um, one of my volunteers last year, one of my staff members, Andrew Crotty, was super helpful and new to a lot of what we were doing, new to DEF CON, in to an extent, but wanting to help a lot of folks. And he's been running Ginger Hacker on YouTube. It's his handle. And once he became part of New Village, it was very active. Now he helps me run. He's my co-lead for New Village, but has had this heart for things that are outside of just DEF CON or other conferences, a year-round mentoring, training, educating, and I don't know, helping sort of spirit. And he's connected with CompTIA and EC Council and SANS and um, so many organizations, both to provide discounts, to provide vouchers, to provide training, like through Dion training. We have that available for folks, and it's completely free to start studying for Security Plus or CYSA through that. We've got some scholarships for just straight up vouchers for a lot of exams. We have a whole mentoring program that is completely free. All of the things that we provide or that uh yeah, that we provide through Ginger Hacker are completely free for people. None of it
I love
requires you to pay anything to be part of this because we know you if you had the money, you wouldn't be looking for it. And so and there's plenty of organizations that have the money that can sponsor these things, or they can provide a discount for those who um, just can't get it on their own. And so we partnered up, realized that our kind of shared vision of helping people was kind of, we call it two sides of the same coin, where New Village is focused on DEF CON for now, but also CypherCon and a few others we'll be growing into. Had a lot of fun with hanging out with Sophia and uh, so that'll be the
Guys
at
film some content
conferences
too, I saw.
space, and then Ginger Hacker being the year-round community on Discord with videos and all of those things that go into it.
And you guys are an official nonprofit, right? Which
Yep.
that's no small feat. Like that's amazing. Congratulations. Uh,
Thanks.
so everyone, go support, go get involved. It doesn't happen every day that there's so much free
Yeah.
sources out there. I've sent the website myself. I usually like scour and see like what is new, what is like different, and that one caught my eye because I don't see it as much, right? I know I'll say WISP does a lot of um train not trainings but vouchers. They'll send people scholarships to
Yep.
conferences that it takes a lot of work behind the scenes partnerships to make that happen, but the training and enablement perspective,
Mhm.
that is something that is worth exploring. Let's see, is besides Eleanor is asking again, is the besides Las Vegas mostly just talks? I've never been.
No,
Let's
there's workshops, there's a lot of hands-on stuff. The networking there is gold. There's a lot of really good talks, a lot of things for new people, a lot of in-depth topics as well. Most conferences like to have a good amount of like brand new tools, brand new findings, brand new pieces. Because I don't know, makes it worthwhile for those who've been around for a while. But it also has plenty, it has a whole track of stuff for new people for career building. So um, that's a good one. There's also CTF that is noob friendly. There's plenty of folks there to help out. So, um, no, besides Las Vegas, if you can make it, it's a really good one. And the only issue I think a lot of people face is it's in the middle of the week. So if you're traveling, that's harder. Whereas DEF CON starts Friday and ends on Sunday.
Right, or
So
take time from work, right? There's so much
exactly.
control. Okay, one more question. What certifications would you recommend for HIPAA if I have to serve medical practices in my area under a consultancy?
Um, Frankly, you don't need any certification to know how to do that.
Right.
Um, look up the HIPAA security rule and read, and then and then Google HIPAA security rule checklist, and there's going to be plenty of them. Um, and there's an official one that from the security rule that explains like all the different pieces, and then just if you have any questions, ask someone or Google what are they until it makes sense to you. There's not a like, and this is the truth of the world. There's not a certification to be able to do a thing. You just do it.
Yeah. What did we say earlier? Just do it.
Um,
Be prepared first.
yeah,
And then just
figure out, yeah,
with some
be a
like
hacker.
some
If
AI.
like if you want to be in this cybersecurity thing, you gotta like hack her up and figure it out on your own. Um, but there is a community, but like you have to put in a little bit of time of like, I'm interested in this. Let me go and just dive into it and learn about it. Nothing gets hand fed to anyone who succeeds.
That's right. Or when people would ask me, "How did you find all this stuff?" Back then,
Googled. I
before
Googled it.
I would Google things. Believe it or not, I would spend time. My eyes would hurt from all the Googling I did late
Yeah.
night. That's when I get my inspiration. And this is not to call anyone out, but a lot of times I have people that come up to me and, they expect the answer ready. No, you scour your own resource. I'm happy to tell you where I found mine, but it's
Mhm.
literally Google. It's literally joining different Discords and reading. I mean, you can sure maybe automate it these days, and you'll get a summary of, I don't know, whatever you want to do with
Yeah.
certain Discords have their own policies, right? So I'm not saying you should automate things, but
Mhm.
and join Slacks. I mean, I hate Slack personally, but join Discords. You will find so much goodness, and I will shout out BurbSec. That's a huge one. I don't know if you're in there,
Mhm.
Josh, but
I'm a
we
fan.
have a BurbSec Las Vegas. We're scaling
Mhm.
BurbSec without us meaning. But Noob Village has a Discord, right? Or no?
We do. Our Discord is going to go away and
Oh,
everything's going to move over to Ginger Hacker.
okay,
So, gingerhackerinitiative.org, I think has all the links.
perfect.
Yeah.
And you do have a podcast too, don't you?
I run Simply Defensive, which is, well, I haven't put out a new episode in a while, but it's on
Yeah,
Spotify and
and
Apple and all
he's looking for
the
sponsors
things.
in case
I
any
am.
sponsor watches this. Or an editor if you're someone that wants to get maybe are you looking for editors or should I
Yeah, I could use an editor.
yeah, use an editor if you want to learn from what's in here from Josh. I'm sure he has a lot of experience and like can help with
Mhm.
things. Then maybe you show your creativity, especially if you haven't gotten
If
much
you,
experience.
yeah, if you've got a YouTube channel or Instagram that, shows off your ability to make interesting things, like awesome. I'm not that that skilled at those things. So um, glad to trade mentorship and eventually sponsorship money
Oh, I
with someone who knows the legwork for making that stuff happen.
Awesome. Well, that's our shameless plug because we love to shout out anything you're doing in the community. It was a pleasure having you today. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about you, but I keep finding out more things, and I look forward to meeting you next time. Was it going to be DEF CON, I think? Or are you going this year?
Probably. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I will stop by
Swing
after
by.
the
We're
shift.
not that far from merch. We're like gonna be like right in that same
Yeah.
section at the north end. So like I'm
If you
expecting you to
need to
come
put
by.
anything aside, let me know. Those Hawaiian shirts went fast. Lost.
Easily, yeah.
Awesome. So thank you everyone for joining. You know where to follow and find Josh. Ginger Hacker Initiative is where it's at, and then New Village for more in-person involvement. Are you done with call for volunteers by now for Hacker Summer
No,
Camp?
it's still open. So
Oh my God, okay.
newbvillage.org.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just
Yes.
had our staff meeting on Thursday, and I was like, "Do we have enough volunteers?" And they're like, "We currently have 37 who have signed up, and we're kind of planning big stuff." So yeah, if you want to help out, if wear one of our new village vests and be part of greeting new people, and um, a big part of it is, hey, hi, you look like you're lost, or hey, hi, you look like you're new. Could I help you
Be
find
surprised. It
something?
happens a lot.
Literally, that's what half of our volunteers are going to be doing. And yeah, so if that's you, and I've delegated this out to my staff.
Mhm.
So I'm sure they're going to run it this way, but they'll train you in what you need to know in order to do that. But you just have to have the spirit of walking up to people and being like, "Hi, are you new? Do you need help?"
Yeah. Oh,
That's all I need you to bring.
don't be scared. Most people there are friendly, and if not if you don't want to talk to regular attendees, go talk to the village people. They're all friendly. Like this is they thrive off of doing these things. There's little
That's the trick.
listen, purpose
Cyber
in life.
people are friendly.
So friendly, and like their purpose in life is literally to help. Otherwise I
Yeah,
wouldn't be doing there's not financial incentives to doing all of this, right? Yeah, you might get like a lot of networking opportunity, but you have to that's you should spend your time in villages because these people are already passionate about what they do and they want to give back and teach others, right? So what did we talk about today with Josh? At the core of it, he has always been a teacher. So that's what helped him with his consulting role, his independent and his actual like day job, and then in his leadership in the community, right? So not saying we all have to be teachers. We have our own strengths, but tap into the teachers that want to teach, and
yeah.
that's how you get stuff done and you get more involved in the community. So with that, thank you so much, Josh. It's been a pleasure, and we'll plug in all your socials so our audience can follow you, and we'll post the recording as soon as it's ready. Good luck with New Village and then Ginger Hacker Initiative. I'll see you at DEF CON.
So
Bye.